So words denote perceptual existence. What do I mean by denote? Connotation, denotation is always hard for people to make the distinction of. Think about it like this. Imagine that I had my arm was in a cast, and it was wrapped up in a cast, and it was like high school. All your friends signed it. If it was me, no one would sign it because I don't have any friends. But so imagine that my arm's in a cast and it's immobilized, and I have this cast on, and you see me in this cast, and there's signatures all over. That cast on my arm denotes the fact that my arm's broken, right? It points to the source, the cause, if you will, of the cast being there. It points to the cause for the existence of the cast on my arm, right? So the cast denotes the fact that my bones are broken, or my bone is broken. Okay, so for Rand, in this linguistic account, we realize that words denote perceptual existence. Words point to things in the world. The cast points to the broken arm underneath, or inside, or within, however you want to define it. This denotation is a semiotic denotation, right? This is semiotic denotation. And Rand doesn't talk about this. Rand doesn't talk about this at all in the chapter. But she's obviously borrowing from sort of linguistic analysis and semiotics, though she doesn't say that. In order to have an understanding of what she is saying, I wanted to present some background information on semiotics, what semiotics is, how Rand incorporates semiotics into her objectivist epistemology, because she assumes, rightfully so, I would imagine, she assumes that the knowledge of the reader she already has that as a given, right? She assumes that you already know that. I'm assuming that most of you don't know that, so I'm going to give you, I'm going to clarify what she means by talking about semiotic denotation. Okay, first thing to recognize is that there's a sign. A sign. And a sign for Rand, again, she doesn't phrase it this way. This is my sort of interpretation of Rand, and I think unfair. A sign is a unit of meaning, comprised of both the signified, both the signified and the signifier. Alright, before I go into the example, let me define what the signified is and what the signifier is. So the first is the signified. And the signified is the conceptual meaning. And then the signifier is the, according to Rand, and we'll put okay. So I'm going to give you an example. Imagine that I look at the word. I'll just say sh. Actually, let me use the real word, shushing. Okay. Imagine that I look at the word shushing, or sh. Imagine that I look at this word shushing, right? And the idea of shushing is like shh, 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 quiet, like shh. Okay. So imagine that I look at the word shushing. The word is the sign. The word is the sign, right? It points to something, right? This thing, this unit of meaning, is itself pointing directing to something, right? It directs us towards something. And the question is, well, what is that thing, right? What is the thing that it is pointing to? For Rand, and I'm going to take a quick step away from shushing. Imagine simply I use the word apple. Let's be really simple, right? I use the word apple. Apple points to, the word apple points to the thing, apple. Or, since I have this as an example, the word Rubik's Cube points to the Rubik's Cube, right? It points to the Rubik's Cube. It's a sign, the word Rubik's Cube is a sign of the thing, the perceptual existent, the identifiable Rubik's Cube. This thing, right, is a signifier, right? Think of it as it's active. It is in the process of signifying, right? It's a signifier, right? The thing is, what is the signified? In the example of shushing, the word shushing points to this act, this symbol. This is a symbol, right? If you were to see a still image of me doing this, then you would know that it means, you know, no talking in the hallway, students, or whatever, right? It's a representation of shh, quiet. The word shushing points to this in the world. But this is nothing, right? If you were to see this could mean anything, actually. This could, and this is where social construction comes in, and I can't go off into that. But if we all agree that this wasn't a symbol for being quiet, and we all agreed collectively that this was a symbol for laughter, then when I did this, you would think of laughter. But we as a society have all agreed, at least within the States, I don't know what this might mean somewhere else, we've all agreed that this is a symbol for being quiet. The meaning that is attributed to the perceptual existent, the thing, is the signified, right? It is the meaning that is attributed to the thing. Her argument here is it's important that you recognize this, because there's actually some linguists that won't agree with this, right? Some linguists believe that signs point to signifiers, but that these signifiers are conceptual. For Rand, a Randian linguistic account would say that signs point to signifiers, but all signifiers, and I think I'm right in saying this, all signifiers for Rand would be objective things. They're physical things, right, in the world. I don't think that Rand would say that signs point to conceptual signifiers, right? Because there's already so much assumed in a conceptual, in the formation of a concept. And we know that from chapter 2, that concepts are conditioned by, formed by more fundamental accounts, the most being perceptual entities. Okay, so when we're talking about semiotic denotation, we recognize in semiotic denotation that words as signs point to signifiers. These signifiers for Rand are things in the world, real stuff. Those things like this mean and attain their meaning from us. The meaning that it attains, the meaning that sh attains, is it's signified, right? It's signified by sh. So the signifier is the actual thing. That which is signified is the conceptual meaning. That's sort of the relationship. And then I want to give an example of this.